Do you work here?
No, I'm a homeowner.
I'd like to speak as a homeowner. I am on the board and I'm
Hey,
very
wait,
new.
get me at the end of the meeting, I'm trying
Yes.
God damn it.
As of March this year, I became a member of the board. I would like to speak as a homeowner and propose that we get rid of Barney.
Get rid of Barney.
He's never done anything but good for us.
Barney offered to pay me to water the lawn,
I've
you
got
guys.
I've got a comment.
He offered to pay me my own money to water the lawn.
Wait. So, I've had nothing but good experiences from Barney, and the person who was before, Carol, we had our outside on our porch was completely rotten from water damage, the paint and the drywall, and everything was peeling off. We went to Carol many times. Look, this is you guys' responsibility, not ours. It's outside. Can you please do something? Nothing happened until a year and a half later when my dad finally came, and he's from the south, and he sweet talked Carol and flattered her, and then miraculously the next day it got done. So Barney, today I had trouble with an air conditioner that I have to install. He came by and said, here's what you want to do to get it to maintain the life of the air conditioner. Here's what you do. Here's how to do it. He really helped, and he's been a godsend for us.
Yeah, but like,
Because he's
just a simple thing, I came in,
Well, okay, but he's been helpful.
And he
He's only
spent
been
all
here
our
a
money.
month.
it's just a simple thing, I mean, this is just simple stuff. I come in, I see the grass, I've been here for 25 years.
Amen.
I see the grass, it's brown. I come and ask Barney, well, why hasn't it been watered? He gets an attitude because I'm asking him something that I should be able to ask.
Yes.
And you
Barney was
get, if
unaware
four
we had a
people
fee
ask,
for
you
the
get four
ditch
answers.
rights this year. I reminded him, if you don't pay your fee to the ditch rights, which is minimum, you lose the ditch rights. And he didn't even know we had to pay that. I was concerned.
Yeah, it's Barney, I think, is a nice person, however, this isn't his profession.
Okay, you guys, this really wasn't.
I have
You guys go back.
We're not.
I have a proposed solution
Yes.
for what this room might.
You know what, I can't hear because there's so many other conversations going on, so could we
Well,
just
can
all
I
talk
finish
one at a
with
time?
Would you let him speak, please, go ahead.
Look, I have two things to say. The first one is, all of us in here voted for the board. The board are people that are volunteering their time to do things. They're not full-time employees that worry about these problems. They look to Barney, who may be a little over his head, or maybe a lot over his head.
Right.
So the first thing I urge everybody to do, don't condemn the board unless you're willing, as I haven't been. By the way, I've owned my unit for 32 years. And I've never stood up and said, well, I'll be on the board. They're trying to help keep this pace going. But the main thing I'd like to propose is I think Barney is over his head. I like the idea of maybe not necessarily immediately hiring a professional company to take our maintenance. But I would like to propose that we hire a maintenance company to do an audit. For those of you that have worked in industry or in the financial world, to do an audit on what is going on here. I mean, people are raising questions. What's the budget being spent on? What's the reserves being used for? I'm certainly not qualified to do that. And I don't know if maybe there's a group of 6 or 8 people here that are qualified that would be willing to do it. But I believe that there are some professional management companies. I belong to a homeowners association in Gun Barrel, and we have a management company over in Longmont that seems to do a very good job. Somebody over here mentioned a management company of these condos over here. Maybe it would cost us $5,000 or $10,000 to go to a company and say, we want to have an audit, we want to know what's been going on, and what do we need to get this place up to spec, and what would you propose that be? And one of the things they may propose is to hire them or some other company
Some professional.
to do professional management. Now, there's a difference between managing the whole thing versus being the day-to-day manager of, water's leaking and the lawn has to be, mowed or something. But I think we're in over our heads, folks, I really do.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and there are companies, in many homeowners associations that I have been involved with, hire, a landscaping crew to do the landscaping.
Yes.
And they
Yeah.
come in and they don't mow the grass on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. They do it so it looks nice on the weekend when we're all home and we all look at our nice green grass. And this is what weekend is crappy here. All these pictures you have were taken on a weekend. We need to be able to feel good where we live. And when it looks like this, we don't feel good. But, and a landscaping company can come in with 10 guys and in 2 hours they got it done.
Well, I'm talking about a homeowners association that just does an audit. And they may recommend that we ought to get,
Yeah.
a professional management company.
I'd like to respond to your proposal, which I think is a good one. However, I think that if you are asking the management company to evaluate this place, they can be very self-serving in their response. So what you really I think you need is an inspector of some kind. Someone, say, a home inspector, or
I need
a
a
building
consultant.
inspector, someone whose business it is to determine what's wrong with the place and how to fix it. There's no personal benefit.
Well, the bank over here has theirs done by landscaping, like, their landscaping done by one company. And they're there once a week and it's perfect.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah, we
need to talk about
that.
We're talking about the whole banana.
But all of it can be subcontracted. We don't need to buy someone.
Doris, can we get back to questions only that we're going to take to the board?
We're
Yes.
trying to develop, this is what we
Yeah.
wanted to
This
do.
is very true.
So, okay.
Okay,
So, the questions that I was reading, do you guys have more to add? Yes.
They brought up in the first letter that the monthly assessment, that an increase of $20 to $30 was supposed to be used for what we were doing. That obviously wasn't adequate enough, so therefore the $4,000. Is it gonna be the $4,000 plus the extra $30 a month, or is it either or? If we do pay the $4,000, will that money go back in?
what guarantee we have that it will be.
So you're asking, and this is one of my
Is
things
this an either
too.
or question? Is it either or is it we're doing this money every month plus the $4,000?
An assessment plus increase in the monthly.
Well,
Okay.
or is it gonna decrease if they take
Exactly.
that?
That's an
Okay.
addition, this is a special.
You guys, hold on.
If we do have to pay this money, I mean, you know, if it is that much, can we offset it by shutting down the pool for a year? Or doing our own recycling, you know, not paying that, something like that? There has to be a way to offset some of this money.
Yeah, you could probably try to get your operating budget lower, I see what you're saying.
That's just a question, there's somebody else back
Okay.
there behind.
Yes,
Can we ask for a list of priorities?
Yes,
Exactly.
yes,
This is
prioritize.
exactly what we need to do.
Something to complement what you were saying is, would homeowners be willing to contribute their own time and effort, to help the grounds?
Okay, what's that?
Granted,
Homeowners helping with groundwork, okay. Day-to-day maintenance.
not necessarily day-to-day, but a community cleanup
Like
day.
day or
Get
something
us
like
caught.
that. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Please write your name down if we
Yes.
can count on you to get some help.
I would just like to raise a concern with, I would just like to raise concern with the contractors that we've been using, because I had a porch rebuilt on my unit, and the work on it is frankly shoddy. I mean,
Yes.
they didn't do the finish correctly. It looks like they eyeballed a lot of the measurements. They didn't cut the lines evenly, and like my porch just looks terrible, and like the finish on the concrete isn't done properly, so it just attracts dirt, and just absolutely terrible. I would really like to raise that as a concern as you know, who is in charge, I know, I think it's Barney, but who is in charge of hiring the contractors, and what sort of contractors are we hiring, and are we getting, you know, our money's worth? Because I certainly haven't. I'm really, actually quite irritated by it.
Okay, Jane,
Yeah,
go ahead, Jane.
whoever does the management is in charge of hiring contractors. I'd like to propose that you're talking about questions we have. It seems like as a body of people here, we also have some, we could agree to let the board know that the assessment as it stands is not reasonable or fair,
Yes.
and we need it to be done differently, and that we agree as a group of people that we're not happy with how it's being managed, and we need looking into that. So we could come up with proposals as a group here that are not questions, but I think we could have two resolutions along those lines as a group tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with this gentleman.
Wait, hold on.
She brought that up.
How many estimates have we had for this?
None.
For what, the siding or whatever this, the whole?
They used two different companies. One company that started did 30/50, that was the first company, and the guy that was involved in that broke off and started his own company.
So that's not the question, ma'am. The question is, how many estimates were received before a decision was made who to go with?
None that we know of.
No. There was originally, when the siding started, there were 3 bids in the very beginning.
Was it?
And that first building was sited in 2009? 9? Well, we have,
Are you
well, we've
asking
switched
about this
companies,
board?
and Barney had, I know Barney had, somebody else came, 2 people gave bids last year, but I don't know what they were.
I'm just curious if everyone's happy with the siding that happened, because I don't want the same people bidding
I
on.
I have not received any
Oh,
complaints
no, I
about.
think they did a good job.
Okay.
I like that company. But I wanna know what is meant by paving.
I
I know, that's a
Yeah,
question
what-
to
Yeah.
ask.
I'd like to know where the
well, considering the city
Yeah.
maintains a big portion of this property, I don't know where they're talking about paving.
I think
More
he
questions?
grass.
I have
He
a
told me to
suggestion.
pave it over the grass.
Yes.
It's out of turn, but this is not gonna wind up tonight. We need email addresses for everybody.
We got that, as everybody wanted.
Everybody signed in.
I didn't put my email
Didn't
address.
ask for it.
There is now.
I'm taking notes electronically. Come over and give me your email
Otherwise,
address.
yeah, I would recommend if you're
But not right now.
use this one and ask to be put on.
Yeah, if you guys, on the agenda, there is an email
I
address.
didn't give your email address.
You can send an email, and then we'll have created an
Did you
email.
put the pavement question down?
She did.
Yes.
So,
Can check something real quick. We're trying to solve too many issues, some of which are minor. The suggestions that made by several people, we do one significant thing, and that is confront the board, tell them whether they're happy with what we see, and prove it clean, up to you to provide, then we'll go from there on. And problem. What's real important, all I did is show up in 20 seconds.
Yes.
Woody, Woody,
Doesn't show up, that doesn't make much of a
Woody,
difference.
can I suggest the board is meeting the third Thursday?
Tomorrow.
night.
I know they don't want to talk about it, but there is a time for the community, for individuals. You could at least start and put them on notice about concerns.
I don't think they'll talk to you, they don't have to.
No.
There is a
The thing
provision
is,
in
is
bylaw,
they set
you
a
have
meeting
to.
for the
you have to request
27th, and that's when they wanna discuss it.
Yes, yes.
The reason they have the assessment meeting on the 27th is so that will be the only subject
Discuss.
discussed, because the regular board meeting will.
I understand that, but they could be put on notice that about the concerns, so they can start thinking about it.
I think they know where.
Okay.
Questions, more questions?
Yeah, I was wondering why these assessment calculations on the size of the units, you know?
Okay, we'll put that in here.
It is the way it's written in the bylaws.
But I want to remind everybody of what Woody said. It wasn't just this board, this goes back to several boards over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Our place in this
That's why we
condition
needed
that it's in
management.
now has happened in the past 10 years.